Hi, I'm Heather Schnoblin, licensed clinical mental health counselor and licensed professional counselor. In this video, we're going to talk about our nervous system and how it responds to trauma. If you missed the first video, no problem. Just go back and watch it, and you can come back to this video when you're ready. So far, we've covered the different types of grief and all the layers of loss. And now I want to move us into understanding the nervous system and how our nervous system can respond to all of that grief and trauma and loss. So we're going to talk just a little bit about the different stages of the nervous system and what happens for us on a daily basis. And this can be from being stuck in traffic to waiting in a long line at a supermarket. It can be late for a meeting. It can be you got in a disagreement with a family member. It can be that you're just missing your family and starting to feel that. So we're going to talk about all the ways that our nervous system responds in a day-to-day world. So the first one, when we are feeling in a good space and we're feeling comfortable and safe, we are in a connected state. It's where we're feeling safe and social and secure. And so we're going about our day, we're able to connect in. Maybe we went and got coffee this morning and we're able to say hi to the barista and ask how their day is going. And we're just feeling, again, moving about our day in a safe, secure, and connected way. So in our day-to-day life, when we're feeling that safe, social, connected way, we're going about our day, something may happen. And so maybe I'm crossing the street and somebody honks at me and my nervous system gets mobilized. And I get into that place where maybe I'm feeling angry or frustrated that somebody's driving fast and honked their horn at me. And so maybe I want to yell at them, or I may do that thing where it's like, oh no, I'm just going to run really quick and get away from this danger. So my nervous system is getting mobilized. Then there's another state that happens after mobilization or before mobilization, depending. And so then there's this other phase that's called immobilization. And what that can look like is I'm at work, I'm in my safe, secure, connected social way. And maybe I get some news that is devastating to me. And my immediate response in my nervous system is to shut down, to go into that place of freezing or fawning, maybe in disbelief. And so I am immobilizing then. And what our nervous system is doing to try to care for us in those moments is to really shut down, is to allow ourselves to rest and digest. And what that looks like is that I then go into a place of depression, shut down, not knowing, and really not being able to keep myself moving forward. So we're going to talk about those three levels of our nervous system. So we have the connected place where we are feeling safe, secure, and social. We have the place where our nervous system moves into mobilization, which is I'm ready to do something. I'm ready to spring into action, again, known as fight or flight. And then we have the immobilized place where we shut down, we rest, we digest, and we freeze or fawn is a term that you may be familiar with. So we're going to talk about a concept called the window of tolerance. And what that is the place that we want to try to be as often as we can. And that's the place that we are in the most grounded, that safe, secure, connected social part that I was talking about. It's the place that we're able to allow some flex when those stressors come in, with those events that will kind of knock us off our feet. When they come in and we're in that window of tolerance, we're able to have a different response. And so we're going to talk about ways to keep ourselves in that window of tolerance, or when you notice yourself moving into either that mobilized place, that fight or flight, or that immobilized place of shut down and freeze and fawn. We're going to talk a little bit about how to get us back into the window of tolerance. All right, so we're going to just do this for a minute. I'm going to have you take a couple of deep breaths down into your belly like we've been doing throughout these different segments. And I want you to think of a time recently where you felt connected and social and safe. And it can be somewhere where you're by yourself, it can be with a group of people, but I want you to just allow yourself to feel what it feels like in your system, to feel safe, connected, and social. And so that's where the window of tolerance starts. So if we think about it quite literally as an open window, or it can be, if we do it this way, maybe a sliding scale of tolerance. When we're in that safe, connected place, our window of tolerance is much larger. So the window of tolerance when we're feeling safe, secure, connected, and social. We're walking through our day, maybe I'm getting a chai tea latte and they get my milk order wrong. I'm not going to get irritated enough. It's not going to knock me out of my window of tolerance. But let's say that day I go to lunch and then somebody says something rude to me. And maybe I get home and I've really had a bad day, a hard day at work, and something happens at home and my window of tolerance starts getting narrow and narrow. And then finally, there's something that happens that just I cannot contain anymore, and it pushes me out of my window of tolerance. And I either go to that place that we talked about earlier where I fight or flight, where I'm ready to have an argument about whatever this is, or I go to that place of immobilization where I just shut down and withdraw. And maybe I go do something by myself and I don't actually talk to my family and let them know what's happening. So those are the ways that that window of tolerance narrows over the day. When our window of tolerance shrinks so much because of big life traumas, it is hard to stay in there in that safe, secure, and connected place. In fact, it's nearly impossible to. So when you're talking about natural disasters, floods, fires, loss of a family member, loss of a coworker, loss of a friend, all of those things are big life traumatic events, and that window of tolerance narrows. And you're going to end up either in that immobilization place or that mobilized place. And how to get back into your window of tolerance and start opening it ever so slightly so that you can come back to that safe and connected and social place is so important. I'm going to use an example from the LA fires that gives an idea of how that window of tolerance can close in a 24-hour period. So the morning of the LA fires, your nervous system, your window of tolerance may have been wider. And as the morning starts, you know the Santa Ana winds are kicking up. It's fire season. It's dry. And then you hear that a fire has started. And there's a little warning that happens. And so maybe in your window of tolerance, you're like, okay, I'm aware of that. I'm going to just keep that on the back of my mind. Fires happen. I'm just noticing. And then the fires intensify. And it starts to take over more of the property, more homes, more structures. The smoke's getting bigger. Your window of tolerance narrows even more. And what starts to happen is then your body starts to go into that place of response. What do I need to do to stay healthy and alive? And that's what our nervous system is responsible for. How do I keep this person alive and well? And so again, as that narrows, then now the fire is getting bigger and people are starting to get evacuation orders. And so at that point, most people's window of tolerance is so narrow that there is no way to have logical thought. It's about how do I keep myself safe? What do I need to do? What do I need to pack? What are the things that are important to me? Who are the people that are important to me? And how do I start to evacuate? And so the window of tolerance that morning went from here to now here. And there is very little room, and your nervous system is just taking over to keep you safe and alive. And for some people, that is shut down, and I don't know what to do. And so somebody else has to help them, and they're like, we're going to pack the car, we're going to get in the car and we're going to leave. And all of those responses are okay and they're normal for your nervous system. And that's how quickly the window of tolerance starts to shrink. And so in a traumatic event, when your window of tolerance has gotten really narrow, certain things will start showing up in your life. Like you may have sleep disturbances. You may be more on edge. You may actually not be able to get up and do things. You may really want to just stay on your couch and watch TV in a safe and protected place. So those things can last. They're prolonged. It's not just going to disappear in one day because your nervous system is trying to regulate. And so we're going to talk in a few minutes about what are the ways that you can help regulate your nervous system and get back into that connected, safe, and secure way. And again, remembering that when there's traumatic events, this isn't just going to be a quick fix. It's not going to be tomorrow I'm feeling better. Like your window of tolerance can stay shut for a while, and that is out of protection. Your nervous system's job is to keep you alive. And so your body can get stuck in these places of hypervigilance or immobilization. So you might be wondering, how do I expand my window of tolerance once it closes? And we're going to start talking about that and different ways that you can do that. And in order to do that and help understand that, I'm going to talk about the vagus nerve. So it is one of the longest nerves in our body. And it starts in the base of our brain and it wraps through in our sinuses and our neck and down into our gut. And so we're going to start talking about the activities of how to stimulate that vagus nerve to help the central nervous system open back up our window of tolerance. And it goes for both ways, whether it's you're immobilized or you're mobilized. There's ways to help, it's called vagal toning, tone that vagus nerve and open that window of tolerance. So one of the most important ways to just start to give yourself space and open that window of tolerance is breath, all the way down into your belly. Because as I said a few minutes ago, that vagus nerve is running through your brain all the way down, wrapping through everything down into your belly. And so if you can start to take deep breaths into your belly, and sometimes what I do is I put my hand on my belly and I intentionally just move my hand with my breath so that I'm all the way down into my belly. And if you can do that a minimum of 3 times, just to start slowing your system down. And then there are things like box breathing. So you can take a breath in for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Inhale again for a count of 4. And you just do that box. It can be 4 counts, it can be 5 counts, however it is that it's not adding more stress to your system. And if you do that for just a few minutes, your nervous system is going to start slowing down. Breath is a great way to get connected back into your body and help that window of tolerance show up. And we're going to talk about a couple other options. And another one is using your voice. And so again, as I talked about with the vagus nerve, it moves through our body and our system and it comes down across our neck. And so humming or singing are really important to help open that window of tolerance as well. I don't think I need to demonstrate. I think y'all are good with humming and singing and know what that looks like. But certainly, again, the same thing goes. If you are in an immobilized state and you're trying to create activation, your humming may look more like a buzzing, like a bee sound, like zzz, instead of something low and continual tone. So a low continual tone is going to be when you are more in that hypervigilant state and you need to calm your nervous system down. And the buzzing tone would be more if you're trying to move up out of immobilization. Moving on to something else that will help calm and regulate the system, but it is simply allowing yourself to notice where that vagus nerve comes across our face or our neck, and very lightly give yourself a little bit of massage in those places so it comes across under our cheekbones, over here, right by our ears. And so you just give light little touches in circular motion. You can also go behind the ears, and you can do the same thing. And if it feels comfortable to you, and only if it feels comfortable, because sometimes the important thing with these techniques is to notice if it is dysregulating for you in any way, then stop. But also just right on either side of your neck, just very lightly, and move anywhere in this area. And just do that for a few minutes and help bring your nervous system back into that window of tolerance. And so we have all those 3 techniques. And then the last one is some sort of gentle movement. Again, we're not trying to sprint, or run a race, or anything like that. It's just gentle movement. So yoga may be helpful. Taking a walk would be helpful. Slow stretching, just getting back into your body in slow, gentle, moving ways. So those are a few options, and there's many other options and many resources out there that will help you in toning your vagal nerve. A couple other I'll just mention quickly is that ice packs are really helpful to put on your neck, either side, on your chest. There's something where you can lay on the ground and put your feet against the wall and just breathe into your belly. So there are a number of different things that will help. And there are trusted resources out there that you can find if you're looking for ways to get that window of tolerance just a little bit wider, and maybe these didn't work for you. And so just paying attention, if there are things happening in your body and in your system that are not normal, there are so many ways that our body processes and holds on to grief and trauma. The big ones, nausea, stomach issues, whether it's digestion, headaches, panic attacks, breathing problems, pains in any part of your upper body, those are the important things to pay attention to. The most important thing I can say about recognizing what's happening in your nervous system is to pay attention and to not ignore it. Your body is doing everything it can to help regulate through stressful times. Please just pay attention to it. I hope this video helped you understand a little bit about your nervous system and how it responds to trauma. Take the survey below to let Music Cares know how this video helped you and what you'd like to see next. For more information or support, please visit musiccares.org. Thank you so much for watching.